Hi there. Okay, so today's IGTV is going to be all about the experience of being behind my camera and what it's like being a couple being photographed by me. So I want to start by saying that when you are shopping for a photographer, I really want to stress that it's so much more than two things that I think most people shop by. The first is price, and the second is, of course, the imagery. So most couples, when they're shopping, especially when they're shopping through social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest, they will scroll until they see an image that really stands out to them. They'll tap on that image, they'll open up the person's profile, they'll scroll through maybe a couple seconds, like the top 12 to 16 posts, get a general feel for the type of work that this particular photographer excels in. They'll immediately analyze what I like, what I don't like about this picture, and they'll also think to themselves, can I picture myself in this person's work? That's like the top level of shopping, right? That's like this top level of any sales funnel in the world. It's just that initial getting to know you step, and getting, not necessarily getting to know you, but getting familiar with a person's work and imagining themselves in that work, and whether or not that jives with the overall feel for the wedding day. So the second step, of course, in that sales funnel is price. And so this is where I think a lot of photographers get knocked to the wayside. So their work is beautiful. The couple takes some time to go on and look at the website, get a feel for the copy, how the photographer writes, what they write about, get a feel for the mood and the vibe that this photographer excels in. And then if everything's looking good, feeling okay, they'll hit that inquire button or that contact button, fill out the form. And most of the time, the intention there is to find out two things: availability and price. And so the whole concept of pricing and why photographers charge what they charge and how much you should be paying for a photographer, that is something that I actually want to talk about in a completely separate IGTV. This particular one is really just about the experience of working with me and being in front of my camera. But I did want to highlight that a photographer is so much more than a price tag. And I know that especially in my demographic area, that my prices might seem a little bit higher than maybe some of the other photographers around. And to me, the price seems higher, like if you're putting just numbers next to numbers, but when you're putting like value stream next to value stream, like the actual product and experience that you're receiving, I'm not like patting myself on the back or anything, but I really honestly feel like the value that I'm providing for my couples is so much more than the price that I'm actually charging. So I believe that I'm giving my couples more than what they're paying for. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. So most of the time when couples are shopping for a wedding photographer, they're after, a couple of things. And one of those things is coverage. So when I say coverage, I mean the number of hours that the photographer is actually going to be there on the wedding or elopement day taking photos. And for elopements, even if you're hiking and a package is only for 4 hours, that will always mean 4 hours from the time the photographer shows up to the time they leave. And I think a lot of couples are like, well, if we're hiking during that time, we're not taking pictures, why are you charging me? It's because you're still soaking up that photographer's time, and that time is valuable to every photographer. Time is valuable to anybody. But so for the first couple of years of my business, that's how I approach things. I looked, I created the same base packages that everyone else was creating. I had like a 4-hour package, I had a 6-hour, an 8-hour, a 10-hour. And what I was finding was that a lot of these, sorry, I have like a hair in my eye. What I was finding is that I was getting the same questions asked repeatedly by every single couple that was inquiring with me, have it be a wedding or elopement. And the question is, how much time do we need? And this is actually a second topic that I'm going to talk about in another separate IGTV, because I like to keep these nice and short so that I'm not losing your attention. is how much coverage you actually need for your elopement day. And it's more than you think. But what I was finding is a lot of couples ask the same question. How many hours do I need? Do I need the 4 hour? Should I push to the 6 hour, to the 8 hour? My answer is always the same. What are your priorities? Okay. And then we'll work out from there. If your priority is sticking to a budget, then let's start with my lowest package. We can always add hours on. If your priority is to get the full, like everything captured from the getting ready to all of the reception, let's start with the 10 hours. And then as we progress in the planning process, if you want to pull back hours, we can pull back hours. And I always kind of set that minimum to where we can pull back to. But especially since I decided to niche in elopements, I personally believe that methodology of pricing for elopement photography is a little bit back-asswards, if I can say that. So the whole purpose of an elopement day is so that a couple can, well, there's a couple different purposes, but the general purpose of an elopement day is so that a couple can plan their day from inception to completion 100% according to them and how they want the day to unravel. It is all about experience when you elope. And one of the very first things that happens with couples who are eloping and they're hiring photographers is they suddenly have to squeeze in that entire experience around the photographer and how long that photographer is going to be there. And to me, that kind of takes the magic out of planning your elopement. So what I decided to do going into 2021 was reconfigure all of my packages to no longer be 4, 6, 8, 10 hours. I now have two, basically, well, I'll say 3 package tiers. And all of them include the same basic things. They all include planning assistance. So I'm helping my couples plan as much or as little as they need me involved. I'm there. And I send planning resources. Virtual location scouting. So that's actually another IGTV that I'll get into, is how I help you find your location. And it's everything from Google Maps and additional software to actually driving to your location, to actually reaching, if you're getting married in a national park, I'll actually reach directly out to park rangers or people that have been to the parks and survey them. I read travel blogs. It's insane. I'm a little bit obsessed with the planning process, but so planning and location scouting. And I also deliver an image slideshow. So more than just the actual pictures, because I think that's a little anticlimactic. With every single elopement, I also create a 3 to 5 minute slideshow of all of the highlight pictures. I add a really beautiful soundtrack to the background of it and send it your way. That way you have a nice product to share with family and friends. Then I also have a couple of other things that are coming into 2021 that I'm including in my packages as well, like albums and film. But those are announcements that are coming down the tube. So all of my base packages come with all of those things. And rather than splitting them up into 4, 6, 8, 10 hour days, I'm opening it up to a half day or a full day or a multi-day. So for local elopements, meaning elopements here in upstate New York or already on my travel schedule, you can pick from a half day, which is up to 4 hours, a full day, which literally means a full day, or multi-day, so 2 full days. And I do this so that couples have choice. They still have choices as to how much they want me around, but you now to have to worry about the photographer. Now you can sit down and plan the dream day that you want. And then a couple weeks before your elopement, we'll sit down, we'll schedule a phone call, we'll go over all the details of your day, of your experience, of what you want to do. It's all centered around you and how you want the day to feel, not me. And we'll talk about all that. And in that, we'll decide when and where you want me. And I think I just have a sneaking suspicion, based off of the elopements I've already photographed and based off of the inquiries and bookings that I've made already this year, that this is going to be the future of elopement photography. I really do believe that. And it's at least at minimum the future of my business. I can't see myself going back. I just can't. And what was happening was a couple would book me for like 10 hours, but I'd end up staying 12 hours anyways, or they'll book me for 4 hours and I ended up staying like 6 hours just chilling with them. So to me, it's like if you are getting married, I'm not going to book anything else that day. Like that day, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, is dedicated to my couple. Regardless of how long I'm there, I'm yours the whole day. So that is precisely why I'm opening things up to full day. Does not mean you need to use me for the full day. It just means that if last minute you want to add a couple hours on, I'm not going to bill you for that. You've already paid for it. Like you're good, the full day. We can change the itinerary last minute if you want to. Or if like we're into the reception and things are kind of like, you can leave, then I can leave early. Like there's no pressure because you've already opened up the chance to plan the day you want. So in the last couple minutes here, that's full day coverage. And that's something I really wanted to spend some time on, is that my entire business is truly based around my couples and experience. And I use the term experience and connection repeatedly over and over everywhere, because those are the pillars of my business, is connecting with your partner, connecting with your loved ones, connecting with your location, and experiencing it, like really being there and not having to worry about, I really want to do this hike, but I'm scared we're not going to have enough time. Like just do what you want to do. Let me know where and when you want me and I'll be there. So that's like a really big core thing. The other thing is what it's like to actually be behind my camera. So again, my two pillars are connection and experience. So whether it's a couple session or an elopement or wedding, I approach almost every session the same way, where you are the center of the shoot. So you're not props to me at all, ever. Now, I'll say that with a grain of salt, because some couples do need more direction than others, and that's just natural, and I'm happy to direct you. I'm happy to give you prompts. But generally speaking, we're gonna play music. We're gonna chat. We're gonna chill, and it's not gonna feel like a photo session at all. It's literally just going to feel like we're hanging out and you guys are on a date night, and we're going to pick location that is experience-based for you. We're going to pick an activity. This is precisely, again, with the timing thing, why my engagement sessions aren't just for like 45 minutes or an hour and a half. It's like my engagement session is crafted around each and every couple. So if you only need me for 45 minutes, then I'll only be there for 45 minutes. But if you want like a 2.5 hour engagement session, like I'm not going to charge you more for that. I want you to design the experience that is best going to suit your personalities, fulfill your priorities, and ultimately give you an experience to really celebrate. Because this is honestly more than just pictures. This is like, it's even for engagement sessions, like you're celebrating an engagement. Like, yeah, you get married once, but you're really only engaged once. You can renew your vows, but you can only be engaged once. So let's freaking celebrate that. Let's do something fun. Let's give these photos a memory to attach to. So when you're looking at them, they're not just something you shared on social media. There's something that elicits a memory and a feeling for you, and that actually like means something to you. So connection and experience always. And like I said, some couples need more direction than others, but generally speaking, you're going to move the whole time. You're going to talk the whole time. We're going to play music. And usually about after a half an hour of shooting, couples are leading the session. I'm not even telling you what to do anymore. I'm saying, oh my gosh, what you just did, I love that. Let's do that again. Or let's just have you guys walk down this path and I'm just going to kind of follow you. And I'm clumsy, so I'm tripping and falling and we're laughing over my stupidity the whole time. But again, the attention, the focus is on you and crafting an experience that's best for you. So I have a couple more IGTVs coming up that are going to really highlight a couple of areas in here, like the pricing, the full day coverage, and why you need it for your elopement. I'm going to talk about those extra things that I'm adding to my 2021 packages, like film and albums. And I'm also going to create another video about creating those really emotional photos that I love so much. So I hope this was helpful. And obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly.